Now, sixth house is the complete opposite. So you may even feel uncomfortable at work. You feel uncomfortable when you're working on something. You may always feel like it's not done right. Whatever you're working on, whatever you're working on. Health. You're always kind of weird about health or things of that nature if it pops up in your life. When it comes to scheduling, routine things you do on a day-to-day basis, you get uncomfortable. It's something you can't fully consume. Also, when you're looking at the details and criticizing, this is things you don't like to do. You like to look at the overall perspective, but you may be forced to do these things a lot of times, or you have to force yourself to do these things. And anytime you do force yourself to do these things, you're doing the right thing. You're going to start to manifest and create portals and elements that start playing out as people, places, and things, or circumstances that are representations of what you actually should be doing, which is AKA a key to the door to that house. So, when you got the 12th house lord in the 6th house, you're here to add dreams, illusions, creativity, and imagination to your work area, your job, or wherever you're working on, your scheduling, your routine, your task. Add your dreams and creativity to your task. And a lot of times, there's no schedule or routine to our creativity. We do it as much as we can, and we go back to our scheduling and tasks. Nah, we're here to make this our scheduling and tasks and our routine and our job in some way, shape, or form. Or if we have a job, we're here to make sure we make some type of scheduling or apply our dreams, illusions, creativity, and imagination to our job. Or we need a job that has something to do with our dreams, illusions, creativity, and imagination. So, that's what's going to happen with the 12th house lord in the 6th house. 7th house, you're here to take your dreams, illusions, creativity, and imagination and apply it to your relationships on all sorts, all type of Titanic ships. That's going to lead to the promised land, the land of milk and honey, or off a cliff, or into a ram or river dam. Wherever. So business, partner, friend, whatever relationship it is. Then how you relate to people, places, and things. You're here to add your dreams, illusions, creativity, and imagination. Now, don't get too far into the illusion, but you're here to play with that a little bit so you can have some type of imagination. Otherwise, too logical or too dry, it's not going to be perceived well. The relationship is not going to be fun. Or how you relate to people, places, and things may not be so relatable. But for the most part, you can have a dry, depending on what planet and what sign is actually the lords in the planet, you can have a dry kind of humor. But for the most part, with the 12th house lord being in the 7th house, you're here to add your dreams, illusions, creativity, and imagination to how you relate to people, places, and things, to bring life to it, imagination, and create some type of illusion to have something to bounce off of, even if the illusion may not be in reality based. Don't get lost too far in it, but it's good to play with it because you end up having creativity and imagination added to your relationships. Now, 8th house, the 12th house lord being in the 8th house, you're here, this is another water house. Now, you're here to take your dreams, illusions, creativity, and imagination and make it more sacred. Make sure it's a secret. Make sure nobody know what you're doing creatively. Make sure nobody know what your imagination is. Make sure you're only manipulating shared values, aka shared bodies, shared other people. And I hate to use the word manipulating, but this manipulation don't have anything to do with bad or good. This only has to do with you being safe and not being vulnerable. Now, for the most part, you're here to utilize. Now, if you see somebody else that got similar dreams, creativity, and imagination, make yourself a part of them. If you see certain representations that you can utilize in order to be the best representation of what you imagine or what you're trying to bring creatively here, get that, utilize that, and let that be the representation. But the moment you try to express your dreams, illusions, creativity, and imagination freely, it's not going to be able to take a shape and form in no way, because these houses are shapeless and formless houses. So you have to understand that. So you have to have something as a representation that other people can resonate with, that they can have a point of reference, so they don't be like it's just all crazy talk. So it's like shared values or shape or form that you can manipulate for the most part. Now, yeah, so if you have some type of creative aspect, now utilize that creative body, utilize what you can do. But the reason you're doing it for, keep that sacred, because people may not like what you're doing it for, or people may overly like what you're doing it for. But when we get overexcited or overless, anything dealing with the 8th house, it becomes undesirable. Everything that's overexcited, you start to realize that, okay, this is not what initially I wanted, what I asked for. It wasn't that serious, and then everything that you go too dive deep far into that's negative and separate from it can become a weird type of situation to the point that you want to actually run from it and it's something that you end up needing to experience, or you may not know how to transform and overcome that. So it plays out very, very tricky here when it comes to your dreams, illusions, creativity, and imagination, by just letting it out freely. But by you utilizing what you can do, your abilities, your own desires, or people, places, and things, and utilizing these things and your power and control for your dreams, illusions, creativity, and imagination, that's when it can be received well with the 12th house Lord in the 8th house. So for an example, there may be a serious reason you want to do something. Let that be the secret. But let whatever you're doing and whatever you're trying to get, let that take its own course. You know what I'm saying? Because it has its own spirit and frequency vibration that's going to take that other people are going to impact. You don't want to spoil the, you know what I'm saying? You don't want to spoil. And then you dive so deep too that a lot of times it's not even a point. Now, the 12th house Lord being in the 9th house, you're here to take your dreams, illusions, creativity, and imagination and apply to all your experiences in your life. How you look at experience, which is the things you get educated about, your wisdom and knowledge, meanings and reasonings, and your broad philosophical points of views of looking at the world, spirituality, God, and philosophy, and you know, astrology, occult, mysticism, even science to a degree, because science is what we can consciously see. So, you know, you're here to take your dream, you're here to add imagination to this. You know, never lose faith, never lose your spirituality, never lose your, and add imagination and creativity to the things you're learning. And these are very spiritual, very prominent spiritual teachers also, because you're able to take and add on to spiritual myth and knowledge that's already here without being too lost into the physical and reality and things of that nature. So you're here to apply that. So you could, it's a lot of jobs in mysticism. You could be a director, a book writer, a movie director. A lot of movie directors, 12th house lords is in the 9th house or the 10th house. Let's go into this aspect. 10th house, what you're known for, how you seen, and what's broadcasted from you, which can be your status and ultimately become your career. Now, with the 12th house lord in the 10th house, you're here to assert your dreams, illusions, creativity, and imagination and fantasy realm, and broadcast it via social media, or let it be known for these things, be seen, because you might go through a lot of self-doubt and might not want to broadcast these things like, it ain't worth me putting this up. No, put that up, because I don't care if it's good or bad, it's always going to be received in a circumstance where it's going to be broadcasted, and you're going to be able to get from point A to point B. So you're here to take your subconscious realm and broadcast it. Don't self-doubt it, and let it be part of your status. This is where you're going to receive the most attention, receive the most notoriety, make your soul the biggest, become the brightest source. And that's what you're all doing when you're talking about the house lords. Now, 11th house, 12th house lord being in the 11th house. Now, you're here to add dreams, illusions, creativity, and imagination to how you conduct yourself in the public arena, and also dealing with the unknown, unfamiliar. As I explained, the unknown things are being discovered every day, so they can be known, but there's new things being discovered every day. That's why we call it unknown, because there's things still unknown. So that's science, astrology, occult, mysticism, technology. You know, you're here to take your dreams, illusions, creativity, and imagination and filter them through these things. See what they mean astrological-wise. See how it make you feel mysticism-wise. See how these things work behind closed doors, or how they're perceived behind closed doors, or what kind of occult energy that you may perceive around these things, the astrological energy of these things, the technology of these things. Do your research, gain information, social media, put yourself up, your creativity and imagination on these things. Now, also dealing with the your relatives or friends, associates, whatever you are associated with, the location of a lot of these places that you are at. Make sure you're presenting your dreams, illusions, creativity, and imagination in some type of way. And then last but not least, anytime a house lord comes into the house it rules, you have power and control over that house. So anything that go wrong, whether it's your fault or not, try not to dive too deep into that, because playing the blame game or being too hard on yourself, you're going to keep experiencing the same thing, because you have power and control over the experience that you have here. So you have power at 12th house lord in the 12th house. You have power and control over your dreams, illusions, creativity, and imagination. You have power and control whether you're daydreaming or not. You probably have the ability to daydream and in people's faces, and they don't even know you're daydreaming. You're able to be consciously aware and fully on have conversations with people and be in your own mind and daydream at the same time. That's a hell of a motherfucking tactic and trick, but there's people out here who know how to do that. You ever been across somebody that you're talking to them and they bouncing back to you? You think they know everything you're talking about, right? Then you ask them 10 minutes later, they kind of forgot. You be like, damn, was you listening? They probably wasn't, but they had the ability to, and some of them learn how to do that later on in life, or even early in life. That's 12 house lords and 12 houses. They sit there, especially for people they don't even want to listen to, but they don't want to express that they don't want to listen to this person. They'd smile, be like this, in their mind, they'd be like, oh, god damn. They'd be listening, in their mind, they'd be listening to their favorite song somewhere else, imagine shit like that, but still be talking to you like they. So this is 12 house lord and 12 house. So you have power and control over this area of life, your creativity, and what you choose to express creatively or not. But you have to, what you have to learn is not be too power and controlling over other people's dreams, illusions, creativity, and imagination. But you also have to learn how to not be too passive, because you know when things is going too far. You know when a person's imagination is going too far. If you don't say something, especially if you with this person and you're a part of this person, you may end up having shared experiences of some dumb shit. So you know not to be too passive either. You know when it's time to give advice, and when you're not, that'll lead down the same path that motherfucking if you was to be too bossy. So you have to play jump rope, play in between, you know, and that's where the power control lies, as you having a great responsibility. And that's your 12 house lords in the motherfucking houses. FLIGHTZ boss, bitch. Goddamn air.